party. And then hopefully it goes to all the places that we're trying to go to. It's kind of a crapshoot. Sometimes I just recorded another one last week that my entire computer crashed when I clicked end stream. And I lost that I lost the entire thing. I was
Whoa.
so mad. So I got to reschedule that. But is what it is. All right,
Where
guys,
you sit?
welcome
Where you?
back to another episode of the Redefining Fabulous podcast. This is another insert of our Empowering Coffee Convos, which is really just meant to be a space where, we can sit down and talk to fellow entrepreneurs and really just kind of like shoot the shit and dig deeper into talking about the things that we don't always talk about, and really just kind of giving you a glimpse at what it actually is like to be an entrepreneur and run a business, because I think it's very, very widely misunderstood. So I am super excited today because I am actually here with LaShonda Johnson. I met this incredible woman. What are we, like 6 months out now? Six,
Yes.
7 months.
Let's see.
I met LaShonda in Tulsa, Oklahoma, while we were both filming as contestants on The Blocks. And it was crazy because we were talking to so many people. We met so many people. But there are a handful of people that I just remember the energy and genuine conversation that we had at a lot of these tables and in our pods. And so I'm super excited to have her here today to talk to you guys. This is a really, really hot topic as well in my community. So I know you guys are going to love this. LaShonda is actually a licensed financial professional. Okay. She is a property casualty agent. She's a certified financial educator. She's an author. She's a speaker, and she is the CEO of Securum Insurance Solutions. Now, let's just stop here for a second because I totally relate to this, serial entrepreneurship. I think we're going to kind of dig into that a little bit too, because I know she's doing a lot of things, as am I. And so before we kind of dig into the juice, why don't you just kind of give everybody an idea of who you are and kind of where you're at in life right now?
Hey. First of all, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. And man, we developed some really great relationships out of that season. So this is very special to me, as it is for you, just to be able to come here and chat, because when we left, we had a laundry list of things to do for our businesses. And
Listen,
I'm
my laundry
sure
list is already long enough with this
I
household.
know. And so we left with a bunch of stuff to implement. So just to be able to spend some time here is great, because otherwise I don't know that we would even get a chance to do it because we're so busy with life. But you did an awesome job of introducing me. All of those things are accurate. I am a licensed financial professional. I have been. This year is my 16th year. And I'm also a property casualty agent, and I'm also the CEO of Securum Insurance Solutions, Inc. So we're a boutique style agency. Our goal is just to make sure that our clients get full services there. So you don't have to go here, there, and everywhere to get what you need. You can definitely come to us, and we're full service. And when I say full service, everything to protecting your assets, building wealth, planning for retirement, taking care of protecting your vehicles, your home, your business, everything, whatever you need, we've got you covered. So we provide, we're the key to your protection with Securum. So that's what we do. That's what we are.
Is that where the
Um,
key came from for your logo?
that's exactly
There
where the
you
key
go.
came
All
from.
right, all right.
Because
And
when
I
you
did
think of
say it
insurance,
right,
you
right?
always think of the umbrella. And so I didn't want to do the umbrella. My sister was like, "Don't do an umbrella. Everybody does
Yeah.
an umbrella." And I was like, "Yeah, well, we're the key." And she's like, "Yeah, the key to." So we came up with it together. I ran it by some other friends, and I just wanted to exude exactly what I was feeling and thinking and what I want to do for my clients. So yes.
Yes. So
So yeah,
secure
this is
them, basically, right? Like secure them. That's how it's pronounced.
well, Securum. So is you. And Securum is really security. It's Italian for security.
Very
So we
cool.
provide that security. When you think about planning for your future, you want to be secure. When you think about protecting your assets, like your assets would include your home, your money, your
Mm.
vehicles, your business, anything you want to protect, your family, your life, all of that, you want to be secure. so we can secure them. Whatever they are, we can secure all of them.
I love it. I love that. And the key thing,
Thank
oh
you.
man, that just makes my branding heart happy. that you kind of like utilize that imagery, but also kind of have that like being the key to, helping that. Oh, I love that. Oh, I love that.
Thank you.
Is there anything else that you're doing right now, or what's going on in your so we're like 6 or 7 months post. We won't talk too much about the blocks, but what's life been like for you since we left the blocks?
Well, I came back super excited. In fact, I was as we were there. We got back to our hotel rooms late, and I still, even going back, I was like, let me see, let me just write down this thing. I'm a tablet person. I've always got tablets, and I always write down things. And so I came back super excited about what I could immediately implement, and several things I started putting into motion right away. Some of the things that we learned, I was doing those things, but I was able to fine tune them. So this last 7 months, I'm not going to say I've made a significant dent in my list, but I have gone after a lot of the things. And some of the things that I've gone after immediately are the fun things. The things that I figure I can take care of those things right away.
The kind of
And it wouldn't
shiny
be
shiny
labor
object things.
intensive, it wouldn't be brain intensive. So, yeah, I was excited to implement some things for sure.
That's amazing. Okay, so let's dive, like a little bit deeper into that. Can you tell us a little bit about like your journey in becoming an entrepreneur, your journey and kind of like getting to where you are
Yeah.
now?
Yeah. I spent 16 years in corporate America, in management, the majority of those years in management. And I always just kind of wanted to be, I would look out of my corner office window outside. I'm like, I'm just supposed to be out there. I'm supposed to be doing something out there. I mean, I just couldn't get content with just the corporate thing. And so when I found a loophole to get out, one of the companies I was working for did an acquisition, and it was the time. It was just the time. The timing was right. They wanted to relocate me to Atlanta from Dallas, Texas, and I didn't want to do that. So I was like, this is the time to go. So I jumped into entrepreneurship, not this industry, but the capital medical equipment industry.
Okay.
And I saw some friends doing it, and I was like, wow, it was a male dominated industry. Jumped in, was in it for 10 years successfully, made a whole lot of income, did very well, traveled all over the United States, became the national sales manager, regional first, then national. It was phenomenal. And while in that industry, I was exposed to this industry, just trying to figure out finances because I was saving in a 401k. And then I'm like, I'm not saving in that anymore. A friend asked me, what are you going to do for retirement? I was like, shoot, I don't know. Let me figure this out. And I can't, I just was drawn to this industry, and I did a transition and transitioned into this industry. So yeah, I've been 2002 is when I became a entrepreneur. So 2025, that lets you know how long I've been in it.
That's amazing. And can you
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about your clientele? Like who is your target audience?
Well, we all need to save. We all need to protect our assets. So everybody could potentially be a client. But my target audience is obviously going to be a person who is serious, first of all, about planning for their future, and serious about taking care of their family and things like that. But my audience, or my market, has been consistent of entrepreneurs. This is a market that I really want to help severely because we focus on the business and not so much everything else. It's like everything is poured into the business. So that's a market I want to expand upon. I really see a lot of opportunity to help. But really, my niche market is women.
Why do you
Women
think that
from
is?
women because women are we're the link to everything. We're the matriarchs in our family. We're the people. So I have males that are clients, but they come to me through their wives.
Ooh.
And so they don't just come to me automatically. men tend to go to a more stoic, um, a more stoic figure for finances. Women, we resonate with each other. So a
Mm-hmm.
lot of my clients over the past 16 years, the majority of them, and I analyze, this is one of the things that I learned from the blocks, is to look at my market and see what is my market. And it's actually women from ages 25 to 50 plus. And then the majority of the men came to me through them.
Mm.
Probably 90% of the men that I service came to me through their wife or their significant other or their sister or some woman that was in their life. So my niche market is really women, and the women who men actually go to for support and services. That would include their spouses, their sons, their uncles, their aunts. I mean, their uncles, their brothers, what have you. So, and I don't necessarily like that, but it is what it is, and that's what it is. Women 25 to 50 plus are typically my client. That's my niche market. That's my hot button, and that's who I've serviced for years now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a burning question, and you don't have to answer it, but um, have you ever thought about saying no to the male population and truly focusing, niching down into women only?
Well, after our time with the blocks, yes. So you obviously, because I can service everybody, I can take care of everybody. Marketing can be very general. So one of the things that I got from being at the blocks is to be able to hone in on that market of women and now cater my marketing, my message to that particular genre of people.
Yeah,
Women.
for sure. And
Yeah.
something that you said too earlier about kind of wanting to be this full service and this one-stop shop idea, that is a much more desirable thing for women than it is for men.
Yes.
I've also done a lot of analytical, looking at the data and stuff like that. And in general, men typically veer towards one person who's the expert at this because I
This.
just want them to do, I just want this to be like a transactional, like I need my oil changed and that's
You
it, and
are
let me get out of
right.
here. And women
Absolutely.
are like, let's be friends. Let's have our kids hang out. What else can we do for
Exactly.
each
What else
other?
can you do for me? Because that we develop that trust and that rapport, and if we can get multiple services in one place, and then we trust the person, we click and vibe with the person, we have a relationship with the person,
Mm-hmm.
because we're going to talk about just about everything.
Yeah.
Where'd you get that from? Where'd you do this? Where do you do that? Hot topics. We talk about a lot of different things. So, um, but make no mistake about it, we as women, we're very astute when it comes to services.
Hmm.
And so if there's any iota of a chance that you're not going to be an expert in what you do, or you can't service me correctly, or there's going to be some type of flaw in this process, then we're looking other places. So it's definitely, I have to earn the business for sure, and I want to do that. And that's where me being a certified financial educator really is becomes paramount in my process, because there's a lot of education going on. And as
Mm-hmm.
women, we want to know.
Yeah.
We want to know. We don't want to just be put in something, sold something, told something. We want to understand. We want to have a basis of understanding,
Thousand
especially
percent.
when it comes to our money.
I'm so on board with that, and I love that because that's something that I also agree with and utilize in the depth of my value. Is that like I don't want to just take your picture and give you your pictures and like go on my merry way. Like I want to make sure that you're empowered to know how to use your images. I want to make sure you know that like here's a list of ideas that you can like start with to use some of these images. I want to empower you to be able to do it, right? And same for web design, like if I design your website, all of my design packages include additional support where I am walking you through and sending you tutorial videos, and I have a whole library of these things because sure, it's money if you come back and you want me to do this for you, but I want to make sure that I'm not just taking your money. Like if you don't have time and you need to pay me to do it, cool. But I need to do my job in
Exactly.
our community, making sure that I'm educating and empowering people to do it on their own. Because I do also feel like that is a big difference between men and women, is that like the men just want like, tell me how much it is, how long it's going to take, and I'll write you a check. And the women are like, well,
Absolutely.
can you tell me why I should, or can you tell me how I should figure that? Like we ask questions. We are
We ask
curious.
questions. Yes.
We are
Absolutely.
curious and we want to know
Absolutely.
more. Like we don't
And
just want
I
to.
like that you just said that, because about your process, because we actually pay attention to service providers who take an additional step to do something a bit more than just the service.
Mm-hmm.
And so, meaning, um, to take a picture is to take a picture, okay? Or we think, oh, it's just to take a picture. But no, you're saying, okay, here's what you're going to do with it as it relates to my services. It's like, okay, if you want to plan for retirement, let's figure out what you want your retirement to look like. Let's put a price tag on it. Let's dream about it. Let's
Mm-hmm.
really get in deep and talk about it. If you're going to do a business, let's talk about how you need to protect that business. Let me educate you based on what general liability is and what it covers versus how you protect your loss of income if a natural disaster happened, versus how do you protect yourself if your equipment, something happens to your equipment. So it's three different things. So education is paramount. And as women, the more we know, the more secure we
Mm-hmm.
feel with the person that we're working with and in the actual service that we're obtaining from that person.
For sure. And I feel like women are much more open to the we don't know what we don't know, so let's learn about it.
Exactly.
Instead of just kind of being like, well, I don't know,
Exactly.
let me find someone who could do it for me. Don't get me wrong, there's plenty of times where I'm like, I'm not in a season or in a moment where I can learn how to do it. It sometimes is like, you know what, I just need to pay someone to do this and move on. And that's fine.
Yes.
I'm not putting that
Yes.
down at all. If anything, what I'm accentuating there is that we have an innate ability to recognize when is like the more efficient way for us to just do it and move on,
Absolutely.
and when is the more efficient
Absolutely.
version to want to know more.
Absolutely.
1,000%.
Absolutely.
Oh my God, I love that.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a natural instinct. And so being able to serve, and then the statistics as far as women as consumers, decision makers, we're in a family dynamic. We're definitely the go-to person for just about everything. Mom, can you this? Honey, can you this? Baby, can you that? And so my goal is just to make sure that women are fully equipped to be able to pass down knowledge to their family as it relates to finances and protection and legacy and those type of things. Because if you think about it, where are we going to get that information from? Who is the first person you're going to go to in your family for information? No shade on dads, but we we go to our moms for just about everything. My dad was an entrepreneur, and that part of my spirit and my soul, I feel like I got from him. And it's something that just I think I was born with.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to information, advice, all of these things, that came from my mom.
Yeah.
It came from
Because that's it's like I don't want to say it's maternal because it's not really like this maternal instinct, but we do have, I feel like this, at least I do. I can't really speak for anyone. I don't know why I'm trying to speak for anyone. I have this innate desire to be a part of a ripple effect. I want to be able to be someone who can spark the first one and, make that a little bit. And it's funny because I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs, when they have kids, their kids like my son has already like he's only 7 and he already has this like entrepreneurship mindset to him because that's all he knows from me. That's all he
He's
knows.
watching you. He's
Yeah,
watching you.
1000%. And you
He's
don't
watching you.
realize it. You don't realize the depth of that until
Yes.
something happens. And I can't even remember what he said, but it was something about math. And it was like, well, that doesn't seem like it really, that doesn't really seem like it pays very well. And I was like, okay.
He's definitely watching you.
Yeah, and he's like, well, what if you tried maybe like da 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 da? And I'm very much a like, well, what if person? Like instead of like, okay, that's not working. Like, so we know that doesn't work. Well, what if we try this? I'm a vet. That's me to a T. And that is absolutely how he is. And his teacher at school even says the same thing. She's like, he's a very outside of the box thinker of like, well, how can we approach this differently? And I'm just like,
Right.
this is good and maybe bad. I don't know.
It's a testament to, again, the impact that we have on our family,
1000%.
and the impact that we have in any environment typically that we're in as women. So as women entrepreneurs, you better believe it's all eyes on us in our immediate circles,
Mm-hmm.
outside of our circles. If you look at it right now, we're dominating in the entrepreneur space. We have dominated for a while in corporate America. More and more women are in position of influence and power, and so I just want to be the person that services those women, because we're definitely putting ourselves in positions, and I said positions with an S because we're doing multiple things that can create a wealth bubble for us. And if we're not so great at one thing, we know how to pivot. We know how to we're just incredible creatures.
We're agile. I mean, we're just, we're especially moms. We are just a breed that you have to figure like that you figure it out, because there are
You do.
plenty of times in motherhood where that is the only option. It's just kind of like, well,
You
we're gonna have to
exactly.
figure something out here. And I think
Yes.
that really does say a lot about mompreneurs in general, because a lot of newer mompreneurs, I feel like I hear a lot of like, they're just not confident. They don't know if they have enough time. They don't really know if they're gonna, be taken seriously because they're a mom. And I get taken back by that, because I'm like, girl, like I take mompreneurs so freaking seriously, because we are literally doing the things in both lives, right? Like our personal and our
Exactly.
professional.
Exactly.
It's insane.
Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
absolutely crazy. So I'm curious, because I hear a lot like money talk, wealth, retirement, all of these things are things that a lot of my clients talk about, because entrepreneurship can be a very lonely and very secluded. Like we kind of have to seek our own information a lot of times. We don't necessarily
Hmm.
just like get the information every day. So I'm curious to know, what is maybe like the top 1 or 2 things, maybe struggle points, or what like female entrepreneurs are coming to you for. What is their like top 1 or 2 like struggles or pain points?
Well, for one, is the top one is managing their finances with inconsistent cash flow,
Yes.
because our when you're an entrepreneur, especially when you're in the bootstrap phase and you don't really
Mm-hmm.
know how long you're going to be in that phase, but when you're starting out startups, or you haven't hit that you haven't hit that sweet spot where things are just flowing for you yet, income and cash flow is inconsistent. So the main thing I get is, well, how do I manage my life? How do I create a budget? How do I do these things when my income, there's no first and 15th. There's no
Mm-hmm.
15th and 30th. It's what
Mm-hmm.
I go earn is how I make things happen. So how do I manage my life when I don't know what my income is going to be? That's
Mm-hmm.
the number one
Mm-hmm.
question that I get.
And I'm curious to kind of like take that one step deeper. Is that concern coming from more of a business standpoint or a personal standpoint when it comes to the finances that they're afraid
Both,
of, or that they're okay?
both, because the concern is coming from a person who has, jumped off the cliff, and they're full blown into their entrepreneurial endeavor. So they're no longer receiving any type of paychecks from a job. Some of the ladies have spouses, but they don't want to. They want to hold their own. You know how we do.
I know how we do,
Um,
girlfriend. I know how we do.
you know how we do. And they want to be successful financially. They want to make a contribution. If you Most women who are entrepreneurs are not just, on for the ride. They want to contribute. They are very, I like to say that entrepreneurs are eccentric people. We are, because we're floating on a dream, and we're doing the work to make that dream become a reality. And for a person to be operating in that space, you already know that they're not a person that just is laying around waiting for something to be handed to them.
Mm-hmm.
If you're an entrepreneur, you already are a go-getter, a self-starter, whether you're male or female, whatever. You are
Well, you
already,
might be, but
yeah,
you're about to find out.
exactly, exactly. So they want to make life work in this new place that, in this new place that they're in, this new business that they're in. They want to make life work, and they want to be successful financially. So that's where that's coming
Ooh,
from,
I love how you just
personal
said
and
successfully.
business.
I love how you said successfully financially. Woo! That's
Yeah.
huge because that's not just saying to be successful, you have to make a lot of money. I'm a big advocate for, defining success on our own terms, and
It's
being
relative.
successful financially has
It's
nothing to do
relative.
with being successful in general.
Even wealth is relative. What
Yeah.
I consider to be wealth may not be what you consider to be wealth. So that's why it's so very important to design what and figure out and map out and plan out what you want that thing to be,
Mm-hmm.
because it's relative for different people. So some people may say, "Hey, my goal is to make 10 million in my lifetime." Somebody else may say 100,000 is sufficient for me for my lifestyle. So what do you want? And then now, how do you get it? And how
Mm.
do you manage it? How do you make it work for you? What is the formula? Because entrepreneurs jump in, and I'm like, you can't set goals just based on your business. If you think about it, Jesse, you if you're a full-time entrepreneur, you still have regular life to take care of, and you have your business to take care of. So when you set goals for your business, the business has to make sure that it accommodates both personal and the business.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to know what it takes to survive in your personal expenses and in your business expenses. And now you set goals to meet and exceed both of those, because you also need a reserve.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just put this in a vivid space here. So if it takes you $3,000 to run your household, that means paying your mortgage, taking care of everything it takes to run your household, utilities, food, gas, whatever, car loans, whatever it takes to run your house, whatever that number is. And then now it takes another 2,000 to run your business. It takes 5,000 just to be functional. Okay. Now you need to save, and you need to build reserves, and you need to have an emergency fund. So what does it take to make all of that happen? So your number can't be 5. Your number is best suited at probably 7 to 10, 8 to 10. And so now, when you're working in your business, I need to make sure that my effort is going to produce 7 to 10K. Now you're specifically intentional. So if you're paid by client, you're going to need to know, how many clients do I need to see to make this number become a reality? How many services, how many pots can I draw from to make this a reality? You're very intentional. So if you don't have these numbers, how will you set goals? How will you manage? And then now, because things are inconsistent, yeah, things can be inconsistent. But I tell you one thing, your mortgage is not inconsistent. You have fixed expenses and you have variable expenses. So your fixed expenses are not negotiable. Your variable expenses, you can definitely slim down on those things. You can eliminate some of those things. But your fixed expenses, you need to know, and what is variable, meaning it fluctuates based on what I want to do, how I want to do it. Entertainment is a variable expense, and it's normally those kind of things, eating out, partying, these kind of things normally kill us. It's not the fixed expense, it's the variable things, because we haven't put a price tag on the variable things or a budget number on those things. So it is a process to be successful financially.
Yes. Oh my God. So there's a lot of math involved there, right? And I know that as a creative entrepreneur, analytical numbers, Excel sheets, not my thing. Like there's a reason I have Jess as my CFO. Like
Yes.
that is not my thing, right? But I also feel like there's something to be said here about how vulnerable of an industry or a mindset this is for women in general. I know from my own experiences that I don't love to talk about money. I don't like for a long time, money, dollar signs, number of zeros is equal to how successful I am. And I don't want someone to be like, oh, there's only 5 zeros? That's not very successful. Like I had this deep fear of being judged and being like not enough. Right. And I know I'm not alone because I've talked to plenty of people who are in the same boat.
You're not alone.
But
you're not alone. You
how do you, as the professional in that industry, I'm very curious, what is kind of part of your process or your relationship building part that gets people, I'm just going to say this, to tell the truth, to
Yes.
give you real numbers and that kind of like make it sound better than it is. And listen, I'm raising my hand. I've done it before. I don't want someone to know how much money I lost last year. Why? Right? And this is like a whole nother like tangent, but like asking myself why more than once was the only way that I could truly figure out the why. And that's a huge part of the branding process with me too, is like, people think they understand their brand, but when they go through my discovery experience, there is a lot of, okay, but like, let's go deeper. Okay, but let's go deeper. Because I truly feel like most of us are living at the surface level. And like, yeah, that's a whole nother tangent. But
but this is wonderful that you bring this up, because this is, the majority of my time with clients is spent.
You're a therapist.
Absolutely.
Like 90%.
You're absolutely right. So I'm going to go back to what you said, is that you don't want somebody to know, you don't want this, you don't want, and the reason being is because you don't want to be judged. So one of the things I tell people is this is a no judgment zone. First of all, I have made tons of mistakes with money, and I'm on my journey just as you are on your journey. I'm actually sharing with you best practices from based on the things that I've learned. That's what made me jump into the industry. It's like, wow, I'm learning this. I'm learning. So many people need to know this. But it wasn't like, I just want to tell people. No, it's like, so many people need to know this. But the first thing is, this is a no judgment zone. We're not judging each other. We need to be transparent, because you can't really get any guidance if you're not transparent, especially when it comes to numbers and money. Because if we're working in one thing and there's another thing that's an actuality, the whole thing is shot. But developing that relationship where you feel, hey, I can trust and talk to this person, and I'm not going to be judged. And it's my responsibility to create that space where you feel you can have that conversation with me. And I always say to people, whatever happened before this day, go ahead and forgive yourself for it. It's nothing I can do about it, nothing you can do about it, but we can look at the things we can learn from and move forward. My job and my responsibility is to provide a process for you to do things a little different and educate you. And honestly, it's going to be up to you to decide what of these things you want to implement. I really can't make you do anything because I'm not with you 24/7. But if you understand the logic behind some of the things that we're going to discuss and do, and you understand where it's going to get you, what the end goal is going to be from that, you're going to be a more willing participant instead of, oh, you're listening, this person's dictating to me this, that, or the other. This is a partnership. And
Yes.
establishing that up front, it creates a transparency. And I let people know I've made so many mistakes with money. And I still make mistakes with money. I'm not perfect. So listen, this is something that we're going to do together. And I'll share with you the things that I've done that have worked for me. And you can share with me the things that you're fearful of. I can provide a solution for you to get over that hurdle. But we're in this thing together.
I
We're in
love
this thing
that.
together. And that's the thing that probably why my niche market is women, because we're emotional connected people. And that's probably not something that you're going to get from a male in my same industry. But women, hey, I understand what it's like when you've got this soccer bill to pay, groceries to get, your rent is due at your office, this is due here, mortgage. I understand that because I'm living that. So I can help you navigate through this situation.
And that part right there, I think, is one of the reasons why women have a leg up in some of these situations, because we live it. We're willing to also be transparent about it. Like, we are willing to meet each other
Right,
halfway.
right.
I think that's a really,
And
really
and also providing that security of saying, hey, now I'm highly credentialed. I've done I mean, I'm carrying several designations. I'm constantly in training. I'm making sure that I'm getting what I need to make you feel comfortable with this process, but also feel secure and knowing that you have a consummate professional that is really working to help you and working in your favor, really making sure that I'm doing all the things. I've spent a lot of late nights just researching what is the best way for me to present this solution for this client for their specific needs. I'm literally taking on in my being your situation and helping you through it.
1,000%. And I love how you're talking about, I'm credentialed, but like, that's not what you're leading from. You're leading from a place of empowerment and wanting to
Yes,
make a
yes.
longer lasting impact than just helping them through this thing.
Moment, just this moment. It's a journey.
And you recognize that this
It's a journey.
moment can be the beginning of the ripple effect in their
Absolutely.
life, in their
Absolutely.
family, in their business, in their community, and I mean, on and on and on. That is something that I'm obsessed with, is what can I do? What can I add in? What can I do to be a little bit different and to make sure that this is not transactional? I don't want to be a transactional business anymore. And I knew that before I went to the blocks, but after the blocks was when I finally started implementing boundaries and systems and things that were
Yes.
no longer going to let
Yes.
me just be like, sure, I'll take your money and do that for you, no problem. Like, I don't want that anymore. It is not serving the farther goal. Sure, it killed me
Consumer,
financially, and maybe we can talk about that like
that's not really what the
separately.
consumer wants
Yeah.
anymore. The just consumerism is totally different than it was 10 and 12, 13 years ago. I mean, and we're evolving into a space where you have to do these things because there's so many other things people can do just to get the general gist of something. I mean, we've got AI, we've got all these different things. So what value are you going to bring that they can't go get on their own? It cannot just be transactional. It has to be relationship based. And we as entrepreneurs have to put more thought into processes that we are extending to the consumer as a service so that we can now differentiate ourselves from every other thing out here that's pulling and grabbing at them every single day, from the social perspective, from their family perspective, from their friendship circles perspective. People are forced to make some decisions about things now, but they've got every all these different things tugging at them. So we have to do what you're saying. It
Thousand
has to be
percent.
done.
1000%. And I actually just had this conversation with someone the other day about kind of like understanding the difference between vertical scaling and horizontal scaling. And, you know, in the past, I've always been kind of focused on that horizontal, more clients, more clients, more clients, more money, more clients, more money, more clients, more money. And, you know, even in the, you know, a couple of months before the blocks when we had already kind of made this decision to transition into a branding agency instead of a marketing agency, because I really want to focus on these deeper foundations, because most of the marketing mistakes are happening because these foundations were never built. And
Exactly.
so when we kind of made that decision to transition, we also made a major mindset shift in scaling, in how can we serve our clients deeper, how can we, you know, double down on this ripple effect, how can we show up in a way that doesn't just help them today or tomorrow or through this thing right now, how can what we
Keyword
do
mindset.
here help their like what can they learn from this
Mindset shift.
towards their
Mindset
next
shift.
thing.
Mindset shift.
Oh, huge.
We're as an entrepreneur, you have to consistently be open to having a mindset shift. And then
Absolutely.
we're also helping our clients to make mindset shifts, because the way people used to deal with money, photography, branding, marketing, all these things is totally different now. So we've
Absolutely.
got to help them to graduate to a different mindset. And so in my industry, I'm saying a lot of the times, man, I really love when I do get to work with a client whose mindset is already in a space where they want to take care of themselves and their family and their assets, rather than someone who knows that they need to do it, they're not there. I'm spending a lot of time helping them to develop the mindset before we can actually get to the, you know, meat and potatoes of what we need to do.
Yes.
So mindset is huge.
I
It's
feel this
huge.
100% right here. And on the
Yes.
mindset topic here, I have heard this in a couple places now. Threads being one. I think I saw it on Facebook, and people are women, and women specifically. They're comparing the not the bank account itself, because we can all, like, you know, log in and like see how much money we have, but like the actual tracking and strategic planning aspect of money and stuff. They're comparing it to getting on the scale. Nobody wants to do it because they're like, I don't want to know the answer, I don't want to know the details, because it's probably really bad.
Well,
If you read that, what
it's
would your response be in that thread?
first of all, it's not how much you earn, it's how much you keep. Okay. That's in your personal finances. In a business perspective, it's not how much you earn, it's how much you reinvest in the business to make the business more successful. So those things again are relative. So it should not be. And if you're a business owner, you know things go like this. Then they can shoot up here, drop all the way down where we can't even see it. It's in the negative of negatives. And then so what we're trying to do as far as cash flow is get a consistent line, but it still does like this. And especially in my industry, you know, it just depends. And so what you do is it is everything is wrapped around what is happening around us. So you can't, again, you can't go back to judging your level of success based on what happened yesterday. It's business is constantly what has happened lately. Okay. And then if I did hit a major milestone financially in my business last year, how much of that did I reinvest back into my business to at least give myself a shot at having a higher level of success this year? Okay. But we can't get comfortable in good moments, because things change when you're an entrepreneur. I don't care if you're selling coffee, if you're providing a financial service. I don't care if you're taking photographs, if you're branding, if you're selling clothes, if you're selling cars. Things change and can change on a daily basis, a monthly basis. My this year, or my 2024, was not like my 2023. My 2025, I don't expect it to be like my 2024. The goal is, am I progressing? The key is progress. And
Woo!
progress could mean you could have 5 clients, okay? So you took care of those clients for one thing, but if the next year you move into having 10 clients. But the progress is, how can I provide a way for those 5 clients to also get services from me the next year so that they become consistent clients? Do you want to chase 5 new clients each year, or do you want to build on the clients you had last year, and now you're providing multiple services for them, multiple value added things that they will continue to come to you for more things, and they become a client for you for a lifetime.
And
It's
not
like,
because of the service not
and
because
not
of the specific
it's
problem
the
you solved.
value add. It's the
Yes, because of the
value add.
mm-hmm,
It's the
mm-hmm.
value add. So, and I'm just going to say, for example, if you took a photograph of me, because I've taken professional pictures for years, but excuse me, I don't look like I looked back then. And the things I was doing with those professional headshots back then are different from the things that I'm doing now. So you can think about, we evolved from taking stoic pictures in front of a mute background to, let's go outside and do something outside. Things change. Things have changed. We've gone from, oh, somebody knocking on the door to collect your insurance from you, to multifaceted insurance policies that can not only insure your life, but also take care of you while you're living, and provide a repository for cash for you while you're living that you don't have to pay taxes on. That didn't exist years and years and years and years ago. Things change.
And they're
So
going to
how do
continue.
you
That's the thing. Like,
they're
you
going to
got to get
continue
on the
to change.
train.
So how are you going to evolve with the time?
Mm.
And how are you going to make your business relevant for today so that you can keep that client,
How you going to
provide
set
a
it up
value
for a year
add,
from now?
and
Yes.
increase your revenue so that you can now increase your client base? But the goal in business is not to have to go find 5 or 6, 7 new clients every year, and I got rid of the ones I had before. It's to keep the ones I have, and I build on those every year with value added services so they will stay with me.
Mm-hmm.
And what I earned from them when they came is now increasing because I'm providing value added services.
And something I'm finding with that in the deeper building is that I ain't got to pay a dime for advertising. Like, the longer you keep these people, the more referrals they're bringing in, because they're so deep in trust and all of those things
And
with you.
value added services.
Yeah,
Value added services. Man,
absolutely.
let me tell you about my person I work with. This person does this. She thought about this. I didn't even think about that. I mean, as women, first of all, as women, if we have a good experience, we're talking about it to every single body that we
1,000%.
can that will listen to us. We will not be we will not keep that to ourselves. We're, especially in our inner circles, our family, our close friends, we're going to talk about the experience, but it has to be something worthy of speaking about.
It has to be deeper than surface
It's
level.
got to be
It
deeper.
has to be more than
Got
the
to be deeper.
problem that was solved. It has to be
Yes,
more. It has to be something like a secondary problem that you didn't even know existed, that you got walked through, you got your hand held through.
exactly.
1,000%. I will scream this from the rooftops for all of time, but experience trumps product or service every single day of the week. Every single
Absolutely.
day. Every
It
single day,
does.
because we are
It does.
human. Those experiences affect us in way more ways than we're capable of understanding.
The experience is going to open other doors, other possibilities, other opportunities that that you didn't know existed. So if you're talking to someone that's branding, I want somebody to help me see what I don't see.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm talking to somebody that is in finances, and they're trying to help me plan for my future, I want them to show me an end that I didn't know about. I want them to expose something to me that I wasn't aware of, especially when it comes to a tax-free retirement or planning for a child's college education, I tell my clients, listen, college is expensive. You're almost in a position where you have to choose, am I going to pay for college for my kid or am I going to retire? Let me show you some other ways that your child's college can be funded where you don't sacrifice your retirement. That's value added. That's
That
something you didn't know.
and that's another huge difference I feel like, which I didn't mean for this episode to be like bashing men at all, but
I don't feel like it is. We're just talking about a niche that
this creative thinking aspect is something that most men are not going to just be like, I'm going to go to someone who can creatively think this. No, they're going to go to someone who's going to probably have a proven record of fixing said situation. Not someone who's going to who has this whole other way that they can put oil in your car because it's going to make it last so long. I mean, I'm making this up, but like that's not what you get when you go there. And that is very much the value that we as creative thinkers add, and how we differentiate ourselves, because there are plenty of people in all of our industries who are more transactional, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I don't want to be that person. I want to be that person that makes someone, I said this to someone else recently where it was like, I don't care as much about the number of zeros as I do the number of times I can hear someone say, I never thought of it that way. Correct. I would rather measure my own professional success on how many lives I can transform and how many times I can get someone to open up their mindset.
Right.
It's that to me
for you as a professional.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're saying that, that you're providing a value add.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's extremely important in today's society that we're living in. Let's just be honest, in my industry, in your industry, there's enough space for a lot of different professionals.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's billions of people and we're not going to get to every single body. So there's going to be some people that don't cross my path that I won't get to service. But those that do, I better bring some value and earn your respect, earn your trust, and earn your business. I had better. And if I'm not, I've got some work to do on me as an entrepreneur. And I need to be studying my market. I need to know, like you asked, well, what is your market? I need to know that. If I don't know that, how am I going to provide services? How am I going to provide a value add service? Once I know my market, I need to know what my market wants and how to give them what I need to know their problem, how to solve it, and the ways that they're going to receive it, and they're going to want to work with me. I got to figure these things out.
And as women, kind of on that topic, kind of on a tangent, as women, a big hurdle that we have got to get through is not everybody is for us, and we're not for everybody, and that is okay. We spend so much time dwelling on all the people who inquire and we don't convert them. Now, don't get me wrong, in a business, obviously conversions are an important analytic to track, right? But the more important, aha moment I had from, being more analytical about conversion rates was, what am I missing? Like, what is truly the problem? And what was truly the problem was that my brand and my messaging were speaking to the wrong freaking people.
Right,
so the people who were coming in were not the right people. Well, guess what? That's on me. That's on me to make sure that my marketing and my brand and all of my customer touch points are geared towards a certain person.
Exactly.
Skyrocketed my conversions.
Kind of like you
skyrocketed.
Trying to sell a family of 5 a 2-seater car. It's never going to fit. It's never going to fit. So that means you need to stop selling 2-seater cars if your market is people that have 5 in the family. So you've got to understand the market first. So if you understand who you're talking to, then you can tailor the message, the service, the value add to that market.
Yes.
It's it's like the light bulbs go on, and every single body is not going to need a minivan.
Yeah. Even though minivans are like really cool now. So, like when I was a kid, the minivans were so ugly.
The person that doesn't need a minivan. If I offer minivans, I'm looking for the person that's looking for a minivan. In my profession,
Well, you're not though. You're looking for someone who's looking for a solution for 5 children. Minivan is not the
correct.
only option out there, but
Correct.
you are
Because
looking to
there's
solve the
many types
problem.
of vehicles. Yes.
Yeah.
There's many brands. You're absolutely right. So I'm looking for a person in my industry that their future is important to them and they want to plan for their future. Now, how we get there, there's many different ways we can get there. But if you're serious about planning for your future, if you're serious about learning how to master personal money management, because I can't be with you every day, if you're serious about budgeting those funds that come in and knowing how to manage your business and knowing how to manage your personal life and knowing how to set goals to meet both, I'm your person. If you're serious, but if you're not serious, no matter what I say or do, you're not going to be my client. I can't beat myself up for that. I just need to recognize that you're not my client. And going back to what you said about experience, my experience will let me identify quickly if you are in the direction that I need to work with you. And if you're not, we can identify that because I can say that up front. Okay, well, there's a few quick key questions I can ask to figure out if you're that person. If you're not that person, I don't want to waste your time and I want to point you in the right direction or give you some things to do so that you can now get on the road to where you need to go. But I need to be able to identify that quickly.
And that added value right there also is the fact that you are willing to try to connect them with something better for them and just
Absolutely.
like accept defeat. It's not even defeat. It's just accept
Yes.
that you're not for everyone. And that's totally fair. And what you said about that makes me really think about, our branding process is very, very, very much built on the 5 W's, the who, what, when, where, why. And the reason for that is because I can't say everybody. Most people are so overwhelmed in the how. And the how isn't part of my screening process. The how, like when someone comes to work with me, they have a 5-question questionnaire that is tell me the who, what, when, where, and why of your business. And that allows me to
do the
see how, what, right? It allows me to see where your spaces are and if we're someone that, like, if this is a good fit.
If it's a fit.
1,000%.
Fit.
1,000%.
Exactly.
Everybody needs to stop worrying about the how. They need to start worrying about the other 5 W's.
You have the how. I have the how.
I am the how.
I just need to know where you want to, what do you want to achieve? I'm confident about my how. I need you to be transparent enough to communicate to me what you need, when you want it by, what are the resources to get there? The transparency. I've got the how. I'm the how. You're the how. We got that. We've got you covered on that for sure. So definitely just being able to have those conversations, knowledge in your industry, definitely being able to understand the ins and outs of what you're providing, who you're providing it for, knowing your market. Man, all of these things tie in to the bottom line.
Yes, absolutely. So we had originally named this episode Why Fempreneurs Should Bank on Themselves to Build Wealth and Money Management. We can either rename this or we can kind of come back to that topic right now and just kind of really kind of recap why you're so passionate about helping female entrepreneurs kind of bank on themselves and really kind of take control of that. I would love to kind of hear your angle on that.
Well, because number one, like you said, we have the innate ability to figure some things out. But the win is when you know that you don't know everything. That's the win. The win is being able to say, I need help to be able to do this thing. I feel confident that I can do it. I need to know how. I need the resources. I need to admit I can't do everything and be able to get the support that I need to bank on myself. If you're an entrepreneur, you've already said, I can bank on myself, but what does that actually mean?
We do it blindly. In the beginning, we do it very blindly.
Yes.
Yep.
I mean, you and I being on the blocks, that was us saying, I feel like I can bank on myself, but I need to get the logistics. I need to make it make sense. I need to get all these things, line all these things up together. And so you can bank on yourself and you can be successful financially if you would ensue the correct professional help in all aspects. And it's typically just more than one place. You need somebody to brand. You need somebody to help you with finances. You need a good CPA to help you be compliant with your taxes. You need to master being able to do a budget for your home. You need multiple things to help you be a total success. A total success. Because we don't want pockets of success. We want to be a complete picture of success.
Yes, I love that. Okay, so real quick before we wrap up, I'm curious what kind of advice that you might give someone who is out here saying, God, yeah, I know I need to do this, but I don't know why I don't take the step. I don't know why, like let's role play here for a second, right? Like I'm over here like, I made this big transition in the business. Financially, it's really killing me. I'm feeling really overwhelmed with like how to get back to that comfort level now that I've, shifted my focus, shifted my clientele, shifted all of this. Like I know I need to do more about this. Like, but I don't know what I need. I'm just so overwhelmed. Like what are a couple of those tips or, steps that you might offer someone that's feeling that way?
The first step is to recognize it and then decide, make a decision that I'm going to do something about it, which means I'm going to make the first phone call to the professional that I feel can help me. What do I need help in? So jot down where you need help, where you're struggling, and then you need the appropriate professional to help you get over that hurdle. So it just starts with a decision and not being gripped by fear.
That's
You've
huge.
got to let go of fear and then step out, make the decision to make the first step, to make the call to say, here's my concern, here's where I need help. And the longer you delay that, just keep in mind, the more you're delaying your success.
I want to take this one step deeper if you're okay with it.
Sure.
If I don't know where I need help, and I feel like this is very common, I feel like this is what I hear a lot, is that they don't know. And I hear this a lot just in the branding and marketing space too. Like I know I've been around, but like I don't know, everything's just kind of out of whack. I don't know what I need. What are a couple things that, or maybe action items that listeners can kind of write down to really try to help them figure out what it is that they need help with, because they likely have no idea?
Well, if you don't have an idea, you need to have a mentor, somebody that you can talk to. Okay. But if you struggle in the aspect of money, write down your struggles. If you know you're struggling in the aspect of branding, write down your struggles. If you don't know what those struggles are, write down I know I need help with branding, but I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. But at least you know that that particular subject matter is a struggle. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So most people that come to me, they say, I don't know what I need to do, but I just know that I'm not doing the right things with my money. Okay, fine. We're going to figure out what you need to do. Let's take a deep dive into your finances and figure out where we need to help you. So before we can even figure out solutions, let's talk about the problems first.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then we can find a solution. Right now, I just want to know, where do you feel uncomfortable? I normally ask people, if you could change one thing about your finances, what would it be?
I feel like
Just
that's a more
one.
relatable question too. Like
Just give me
people are
one
probably
thing.
able
You
to
if
answer
one thing,
that.
if you could change it, one thing you could change, what would that one thing be? And then I'm all ears. I'm listening. I'm taking notes. What's the one thing? And then I'm like, say, okay, now give me two more things so we can make it three things. Okay, because once you get the mind juggling, you're like, okay, I would change this. You know what? I would also change this. You know what? I would also change this. Once we've defined your list of things you would change, let's prioritize those things. What's the
Roadmap.
number one thing that we need to work on first? Let's put these in order: one, two, three, four, five. Or if it's just three things, one, two, three. Which one is the one that needs the most attention? Very first. I say very first because we have a lot of first. We figure stuff in our mind fights for the first place for attention to be
Mm-hmm.
addressed. Let's talk through what is the priority? And that's where the person like myself or yourself, we can help them to see, yeah, this is a priority to you. Before you can even do this, you need to do this.
Because you know
Okay.
that if you do this first, you're going to come right back around to do
That's
this
where the
again.
experience with the
Yes.
professional comes in.
And I feel like we are like parallel in separate industries because we are the between the liners. Like you just tell me something. Just tell me anything. Just start with one or two things because you know it's going to turn into 5 or 7. And let
Exactly.
me read between the lines.
Right.
Because that's very much what I do as well, is kind of like, okay, well, let's talk about this. Like what's, and once you start to get one or two things out of them, you start to get 10, 20, 30, 40. And then we
Exactly.
are the people reading between the lines, helping them prioritize because we bring the experience of knowing what needs to happen first, or at least what
Absolutely.
needs to happen before, whatever else.
Yes.
I
Yes.
love this. Oh my God. This is like such a hot topic. Not me getting ready to like book a call with you. Okay. So do you have any like worksheet? Like, do you sell or have like any, like worksheets when it comes to all of the like mathematical aspect of this? Do you do any of that in your education part?
Yes. Well, absolutely. I do have the number one issue with people is just being able to manage what they have coming in.
Yep.
And that means a budget. And not that I just know in my head, but there's a process to being able to manage your money on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And so I do have a ebook or e-download that people can grab, and it gives you the basics of just being able to manage your money, and you can actually apply those basics to a business as well. And then I do have a wealth building journal, and I have the journey to financial freedom, your roadmap to building wealth. Those two publications are on Amazon.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Oh man, I will link
Yes.
those in the show notes for you guys because I'm just on my way to
Yes.
buy those right now.
and and then if you want to grab a couple of people, your close circle, and have a more in-depth conversation, I schedule webinars. That's my love and passion about what I do. I'm a certified financial educator, so I love teaching actually more than the actual process of the products. I love the teaching part.
Yes, that's the
And
ripple effect in
so
us. Yes.
being able to teach people little key things they can do to master their finances, because no financial professional is going to be with you every single day. You need to have the wherewithal to make decisions that's going to put you in a position to win
Yes.
by yourself. And I want
Yes.
to equip my clients with that. I equip my clients with that. And you and your circle and whomever else, anybody who wants knowledge, I'm ready to give it.
Yes, I love that. Oh my God. Okay, so the burning question as we wrap this up, I ask every single person this on the podcast because it is the base of why I created this podcast. What does success mean to you?
Success to me means being able to help my clients and my community. That's success to me. Being able to provide that value add. I want people to be in a different position. If I start working with you today, I want you to be in a different position next year, because it takes time when you're working with finances. Habits have to be formed, things have to be done. But next year, when we do an annual review, I want to see a visible difference between where we started and where we're heading from year to year. Progress. That is success for me, that my clients have quantitatable progress that we
Yes.
can quantify. I can see it. You can see it. Progress. That is success for me.
I love that. I don't think anyone has answered that question with the word progress, and I freaking love that because I think that is very kind of hand in hand with like my version of wanting to constantly evolve and being okay with constantly evolving and feeling like, I'm doing the best I can right now and I'm learning from it. So oh my God, progress. I
Yes, I even use
love,
that
love.
as a measure for myself. For when you have goals, you need to see I hit a milestone. No matter how big or small that is, it still equates to progress.
Yes.
So progress for my clients, progress for me, progress. Did we make progress? If we haven't made progress, we got to address that ASAP so that we can get on the road and the journey to making progress, because progress leads to success.
Yes, and someone sent me a Instagram post the other day, and it was an image. I think it was like of a compass, and it said, "Focus on the direction, not the speed." And I really liked that because I think that we are, as a society, always looking to do things as fast as we can. That instant gratification thing is just the world we live in right now, and we often lose sight of what direction we're headed. I mean,
Exactly.
I like there are decisions that I have made in this last year, including the blocks, that were purposefully made to make sure that I'm going
And headed in the right
in the
direction.
direction that I want to be. Like
Exactly.
every time a project
Exactly.
or client comes in, the question is always, is this going to take me farther away or in the right direction that I'm
Correct.
trying to go in 5 years? Like
Because
that is
time becomes an issue when you spend too much of it going in the wrong direction. That's when time becomes to be an issue. But if you're going in the right direction, obviously you've got the best return of investment of your time. But if you're going in the wrong direction, now it's like I've spent all this time and I didn't get anything accomplished, or I wasn't even the ballpark of where I needed to be. But if I'm in the right place, hey, this is a good return of investment for my time.
Yes, the ROI is like 9 times out of 10
Yes,
not monetary. Like,
yes.
and I think that's something as a society we also kind of struggle with, is that everybody's so worried about ROI being a dollar sign, being a
It'll get
number.
there. It'll get there
That's
over
part
time.
of it.
It will get there
Yeah.
over time, but you got to do the work. You've got to do the work. Return of investment. Investment is in so many things than just dollars. It's
1000%.
time, it's energy, it's effort, it's evaluation, it's correction, it's pivoting, it's so many things. Investment of time is so valuable when you're doing it, like I said, in the right direction. It becomes a problem if you're doing things the wrong way. But there's so many things that we're going to invest in to get the bottom line monetary number we're looking for.
And that line in the right direction, by the way, in case anyone is thinking that we're insinuating this, it ain't straight. Yeah, like we're not saying that like there's points where you're going to go northeast instead of north, but like the windy road is fine, but you better not be going south if you're trying to go north, right? Like that is way more important. And I will tell
And if
you,
you are, you need to learn to redirect, be redirected. It's like GPS does. You turn the wrong way, it just says rerouting. But you need to reroute quickly. Otherwise, you've went way out of the way for a long period of time. But if you keep going out of the way for a long period of time, and the thing keeps telling you reroute, and you're ignoring that, then again,
which we do for very
the
long.
wrong investment of time. It's time is money. So we definitely need to be headed in the right direction with our time.
Absolutely. And you guys, our brains, our mindsets are that GPS. We are that old school Garmin that, used to go like up on your like suction cup up to your window, and it was like massive and it barely did anything. And half the time you weren't even on a highway. You were like driving through a river on the map. It was so bad. Oh, how times have changed. Oh my God. Girl, this conversation is going to be hot. People are going to like just freaking love this because this is such a hot topic in all of the communities and circles that I'm in. I'm so excited to share this with everyone.
So natural.
Absolutely. So everyone that is like hot to trot, they are like, I love her. I want to talk to her. What is the best way for them to get in touch with you?
You can call me. That's the easiest way. A lot of times we got, on my social media handle this, that. I have all of that. I have it all. Trust me. But call me. 832-807-4200. I'm on social media. I'm Googleable, LaShonda Johnson, CFED. Hey, I'm on every social media handle. I'm on Instagram as MSLWJCFED. I know you're gonna put all
Yeah,
that information
I'll link
here,
it all in the
but
show notes for you guys.
the
I
best
wanted to know what
way,
your number one preferred method is.
call me.
Not right.
Okay?
Call her. Don't call me.
832
Nobody call me. I don't like the phone. You can text me if you want.
Call
Don't
me.
call me. But you can call LaShonda.
You can call me or text me. You can text me, hey, I need help. call me. Hey, I need help. If you call me, you get my voicemail. Text me and say, hey, I left you a voicemail. That's the fastest way you're going to get me is to call or text.
Amazing.
832-807-4200.
Oh, you are amazing. Thank you so freaking much for spending this time with me today. This is like crazy, and I'm seriously rethinking my entire life after all this. No, but for real, I super appreciate you. I cannot even thank the universe enough for, us crossing paths in Tulsa, which, is like the most random freaking thing in our lives. But this is a testament, you guys, to the ripple effect of the decisions that we make. Every decision we make every single day, where we are spending our time, where we are investing our mindset, our money, all of these things lead to opportunities. It does not always lead to your, desired money, dollar amount in your bank account, but my fucking God, does it run you into people that you never knew you needed.
Yes.
Ever.
Yes.
You never,
Absolutely.
ever knew.
Absolutely.
So, LaShonda, thank you so much again for joining me today. Thank you everyone for tuning in. You guys can listen to this on all of the podcast platforms. We're also going to have this YouTube video available for you guys to watch. Make sure you like and subscribe, and let us know in the comments what you guys liked the most. What did you take away? And maybe is there something else that you would love for us to go further in depth about? Because I, for one, would love to freaking have a whole nother conversation about this. So, all right, guys, until next time, stay fabulous.
Bye.